Hello, everyone. This practice is called One Good Thing, and it's about finding a moment of joy and then noticing what that's like in the body when you remember a moment from the past. A lot of times we think of joy as, like when you're really having fun. And yes, you can totally feel joy when you're having fun, but it doesn't always have to be like woohoo, like a party, right? It can just be a quiet moment of joy. So, to begin, let's just find a comfortable seat and noticing your feet on the floor, or if you're sitting on the couch crisscross or whatever, just notice your touch points. And let's take some breaths together. So, inhaling and exhaling all the way out in, and then all the way out. And one more. And out. And if you want to close your eyes, you can close your eyes. If not, you can just have your gaze looking down at the floor in front of you. And let's try to bring to mind a time that you were feeling a lot of joy. It can be something that you were doing. Maybe you went somewhere, or it can be some time that you spent with a person, so one person who brings a lot of joy in your life. Or it can be, an item, a thing that you love being with, doing things with. Maybe it's your art supplies, or maybe it's something that you ate. Whatever that is, just bring one thing to mind. And I'm sure you have many, so let's just choose one. And then just let's use our 5 senses. Try to go back and remember, bring to your mind where you were, what was around you, what could you see, what was in your environment, what colors, maybe some things, some people, or if no one was there, just like what was around you. Just noticing that. And then bringing to mind, what sounds did you hear? So were you outdoors, and what sounds were there? Were there people talking, cars, birds? What did you hear when you were in that space? Maybe it was the sound of silence. Whatever it was, just bring that to mind. And then were there any smells? Were you somewhere that there was a strong smell, maybe on the beach, or something cooking, or maybe a person that you were with had a certain smell. Whatever it was, just bring that smell to mind if you can. And then, were there any tastes involved? Seeing if you remember what it tasted like, if there was a taste. So it doesn't have to be food. Maybe you were like on the beach and you could taste the salty air. Or maybe you did have something to eat, and what was the taste like? And then try and remember what you touched. So maybe it wasn't something that you were actually holding in your hand, but maybe, for example, you were barefoot and you were on the hardwood floor, or maybe you were on the beach or in the grass. Maybe you were sitting somewhere and you remember what it felt like to sit in that place. So bring that thing to mind. And then just notice with all those five senses going. And maybe you don't have all five. Maybe you have one or two or three. It doesn't matter. Whatever you can bring to mind. Notice how it feels in the body when you feel those five senses. You have those five senses going. What does that do inside the body when you feel that moment of joy? What does that feel like inside the body? Maybe you feel it in your heart space. Maybe you feel it in your arms and legs, your belly. Just noticing. There's no right or wrong answer. It's whatever it is for you. What does joy feel like inside the body? And whenever I have a moment of joy, I often feel gratitude at the same time if I notice it. If it's a moment of joy and I stop to notice it, I feel a lot of gratitude. So what does that feel like? Maybe you have gratitude for the thing or the person or the place or just for the experience. Notice what that feels like. All right, let's take a couple breaths in together, inhaling and exhaling. In and out. And then I like to tip my chin down and open my eyes, looking at the floor for a moment. So scientists say that when you remember a moment that was pleasant for you, the feelings that come are just like the feelings that you were having when you were actually doing the thing. So even just the memory of that moment invokes the same feelings that the actual experience did. So in these times that we're having a lot of struggle, right? We can't leave the house as much or be with loved ones. It's important that we feel joy because that's our right as a human being. So when you're struggling, maybe take some time, think about a time, have a mindful sit about a moment of joy, and just notice what that does. Notice how it changes your experience, or maybe it doesn't. Just notice what happens. All right, thank you for visiting as always.